girls and children of all ages. Welcome to the filler segment, episode 2 of our new re-induced package time. Uh, this is going to be the top 10 wrestlers who have never won the heavyweight title in any organization, but mostly the main ones. I'll say WCW, WWE slash WWF, TNA, AEW. We'll leave it at that. So we're not going to go because you could go to AWA, you could go to NWA,
You
you
can
could
go
go to
ROH. You can go.
New
you,
Japan.
you can go to AWF.
So we'll just leave it to
No,
those
not
four
AWF.
are those major ones: the TNA, the WWE slash WWF, WCW. So we're gonna kick it off with our first guy. But first, let me see. I'm having a wonderful Saturday afternoon. Got my a little bourbon and lemonade.
Is that the Blackberry?
No
Blackberry
bourbon,
Crown?
bourbon
Oh,
and
bourbon. I'm sorry.
bourbon and lemonade today. It's a little
What's the
adult.
what brand of bourbon we got?
I think this one I had Old Mitchers. It's called Old Mitchers. Mitchell's bourbon is pretty good, but I also got Weller's in there. I'll drink Weller's just on the rocks, or I drink it neat because I like the bourbons. And if I drink more expensive ones, I like to drink it neat. If I mix it with something, I'll usually get like Makers or something like that, and mix it
Hmm.
with the lemonade. But I need y'all for this episode. Just bring the energy in the crowd, guys. Today, when we post it, we got one. This episode will be out next Saturday. We posted our one today. If you to go like it, look at it, and you can actually give us feedback if we need it. But we're gonna kick this off today with our top 10. And the first one I want to kick it off with, it should have been a heavyweight champion, but never won it. Mr. Davey Boy Smith, British Bulldog himself. And we got top 10, but no particular order. There's no particular order. Davey Boy Smith, not Mr. Guy who was smoking crack before his big show. And
That's why my facial expression changed because, like, when I'm still thinking about that video, man. Like,
well,
now I
yeah,
got to
he
go back and watch the match. Now I got to go back and watch the match.
So
But
word on the street, guys, is that British Bulldog was smoking crack before his SummerSlam in England,
yeah,
and Bret Hart basically had to get him through the match.
yeah, I had to carry him, but literally carry him through the match.
That's word on
I
the
mean,
street.
but aside from that speculation, do you think that Davey should have been WWF champion, right? Not
Yeah,
because he wasn't in WCW long enough to really. I mean, he had a couple main event matches. He would have been a decent WCW champion around that
that's.
time.
I think instead of winning the Intercontinental in England, he should
At
have won the
Wembley, he
heavyweight
should have won
title.
the heavy. He would have had to beat Macho Man. Ooh,
Hey, he beat Bret Hart.
ooh, yeah, yeah. But '92, Macho Man was like the guy. Like Bret
Yeah,
Hart was still like on his way. He was still on his rise. But I mean, either company, I feel like even Attitude Era, like Skinny Jeans, Buzz Cut, Davey could have had like a transitional run. Definitely, like I said, during his time in WCW, his first go round because he was in WCW around the time where they needed an established star and somebody who could really get in there and work. And he had some decent matches with Vader and Team with Sting and all that good fun stuff. But yeah, I do agree with David Boy Smith. He could have had a run in both companies. Like I've been saying, he could have had a even during the Attitude Era, he could have had a transitional run. But he was, I mean, he had everything. He had everything you needed. He didn't need a manager. Worked really well. Was very reliable. You know, but during his initial time in WWF, a lot of guys we're gonna talk about, we all know why they weren't champion. Especially like when we get guys who competed like in the '80s and early '90s and even midnight wherever. But we know why they weren't champion. But just guys who should have been. And Davey was definitely, oh Jesus, Davey was definitely one of those guys that was a victim of circumstance. Um, he was in WWE during some time periods where you know the old man had his guys holding the title. So,
or he
but
had a
he
snitch.
is still his guy.
I know, but his snitch.
Right, right, still his guy though.
Are you on episode? Have you finished it?
I haven't even started it yet.
I'm on episode 4 now.
I just finished Heels, and I
So
need them
I
to.
think I so did I. Oh my god, how they gonna end it with him being paralyzed? But first,
I need season 3 like tomorrow.
I know.
I
But,
need season 3 tomorrow.
Yeah, I want season 4. It's more like, I hate to say it, it's the Red and Yellow Man documentary. It seems like
Is it starting out that way? I mean,
he's all over it, like all
of
through it.
course he is, because he's probably the only one left that's still publicly, willingly kissing Vince's ass.
Whatever, man. I ain't even messing with that man no more. I never did really, but except for when I was 6 years old.
Right, and he's the reason why a lot of these guys are on this list.
Yeah,
Let's just throw that out there.
that too, and some of these guys are on the list because they had substance abuse problems.
That too, but I mean, if that wasn't an issue, like when we're going to like the business side of it all,
Yeah,
he's the reason why a lot of people were not champion. Because you think about it, his initial run went from 84 to 88. There are, well, one guy who, well, I wouldn't say British Bulldog in 88 because he was still tagging, but even then, like he dropped it in 88, won it again in 89, dropped it in 90, won it back in 91. You know what I'm saying? So like you really didn't get a chance to really test the waters with anybody at the top because of his selfish ass. And a lot of them, and then when he went to WCW, it was the same way. It was the same way.
Never, he had creative control, but he never used it.
Yeah,
like
sure. Like I got toilet paper and I ain't never used it too. Fuck out of here.
Just like he went on Arsenio Hall, and remember he said he used steroids 3 times. It's on it's on the documentary.
Yeah, stupid. Excuse me.
So yeah, but some of his accomplishments that I like, you could say. We'll just go through a couple of them. And no, I'm not even worried about Stampede Wrestling because they were going to get over in Stampede Wrestling because it's the family business, right?
Yeah.
The dad and father-in-law and all that.
Mm-hmm.
2-time European champion, 1-time Intercontinental champion when he won in that SummerSlam. 2-time Hardcore champion. Tag team champions, one with the Dynamite Kid and one with Owen Hart. Battle Royal at the Albert Hall in 1991. And he's a Hall of Famer in class of 2020.
Yeah, the year he won the Battle Royal at Royal Albert Hall, I want to say that was the same year that he started out number 1 in the Rumble. I think he was first entry when in 90, because that Battle Royal was in 92. So I think that he was the first entry in the Royal Rumble that year, and he went for like almost an hour. The year that Flair ended up winning the title, he went for almost an hour in that Rumble that year. So
yeah. So yeah, we have British Bulldog on the list as the top 10. Like I said again, no particular order. Yeah, he had the look, he had the it factor. He was over with the fans.
Solid mic skills too. Like he wasn't terrible on the mic.
He was like growing up. I really liked the British Bulldog when I was growing up.
I did. I mean, I liked the team, and then once he went solo, I kind of stuck with him. I kind of stuck with Davey.
I was a British Bulldog fan growing up. So next on our list, guys, we have Curt Hennig, or AK Mr. Perfect. Disclaimer for this one: he was an AWA World Heavyweight Championship.
Correct.
One time, but not really. We're not counting AWA right now because it was a long time ago. And
I mean, you could, but I mean, I kind of get it though. Like because they were considered a major promotion back then, and typically, if you were that over wherever you came from, you would be just as over, if not more over, at the place that you are going or where you end up. But I guess Vince only saw him as the top secondary guy, which was dumb. Like you put all of this work into this character with these promos, some of the best vignettes ever, and then you kind of like put a cap on his success by not allowing him to be a heel. And that's the other thing. Like the old man had a face champion like win, like a babyface win the championship from 1984 until Sergeant Slaughter won. Because like I'm not counting Macho as Macho Man didn't win as a heel. He turned heel in the midst of his run. But yeah, like after Iron Sheik beat Bob Backlund, we didn't have another heel like outright win. It took us that whole Andre the Giant thing for WrestleMania 4 setup that don't really count.
Yep.
But we didn't really have a heel win the title until Ultimate Warrior dropped at the Royal Rumble.
But Red and Yellow Man, he was a heel in AWA.
He was a heel in AWA, but he was
Yeah.
never actually champion either because he always lost on some technicality. Nick Bockwinkel wasn't having that shit. But as far as Mr. Perfect goes, though, like the Mr. Perfect character, because Kurt Hennig was a heavyweight champion in AWA. Mr. Perfect definitely should have been a WWF champion during his time because
he was the number 9 ranked wrestler in 1993, and he didn't get the strap.
And he had been there way before 1990. He got there in like 87 because he participated in the first Survivor Series.
He was the most improved wrestler in 1987 by PWI. And he was a tag team champion in AW with my GOAT.
Yeah, he was.
And y'all know who my GOAT. If you don't know me, you know who my GOAT is. He'll be on the list. We'll talk about him last because he is the GOAT.
But I mean, you have him work his way up the card, and then you reward him with an Intercontinental Championship. I mean, which is cool, but it's like if he can win that one, why can't he win? It happened for Savage. He was Intercontinental Champion for like a year, and then worked his way up, continued to work his way up, and ended up being the guy. There was nothing wrong with Mr. Perfect but I mean, something about the old man and not wanting no heel as a champion like that.
Give him my guy, Mr. Perfect, title defense against Big Boss Man at WrestleMania 7.
I do, man. WrestleMania 7 was such a bad memory. Like, I wish it would just go away.
WrestleMania 3 was a bad memory.
3?
When they had 3 different locations?
That was 2.
2, I meant. My bad.
Yeah, that was 2.
No, I think 3.
But that was
3 is my favorite one.
Okay.
Yeah, I meant 2. That's what I meant. The 3 different locations.
But I feel you though, man. Like having him defend against the Boss Man in one of the worst WrestleManias, when you got a Texas Tornado on the roster at the time, you could have just had him defend against so many other people at that point in time. The roster was.
I can't believe WCW didn't give him the strap either.
They gave him the U.S. title though.
I know.
But again, who was champion in WCW when he got there?
I know.
Hollywood Red and Yellow Man.
I know, man. I'm just saying. Mr. Perfect was one of my favorite characters. When I was a kid growing up, I would always go on the trampoline or whatever and do the perfect flex on somebody.
I could never get my grip right on
the fisherman, right? Yeah.
Yeah, fisherman suplex. He did make the fisherman suplex. Like, it was a horrible. This is a great technical one. Nah, you change the name and give the user of said move personality and things that Kurt Hennig had, and the fisherman suplex is interesting again. So I don't even call it the fisherman suplex anymore. It's always going to be the perfect plex. I don't care who does it. It's always going to be the perfect plex from here on out. It always has been.
Yeah, and all the guys, his peers will say, the Red and Yellow Man, Ric Flair, Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, Kevin Nash, they always come in and he had one of the best in-ring talents. And they usually said that when they wrestle him, it's basically a night off.
Yeah. And he took down Brock Lesnar at 30,000 feet.
So he wrestled well and he was safe.
Yes. He was perfect.
And he got his son Intercontinental Champion.
He did. It helped. It helped.
Because there's no way his son should have got the Intercontinental Championship if it wasn't for him.
You don't think so?
No. But that's when they were treating the Intercontinental Championship like it was nothing.
Yeah.
During that time period. Yeah. So that's 2 down, guys. We got Kurt Hennig. Next guy on the list, he's active on the roster right now. He is actually not. He's active on the roster, but he's not active. You got my guy.
He's on payroll, but he's not on the active roster.
Shinsuke Nakamura, but they got him. He is a prior IWGP champion.
Mm-hmm.
We said we weren't counting that. 3-time IWGP champion, but he's been an NXT championship, but that don't count either because there's a lot of people had the NXT championship, but they never when they went to the main roster they flopped.
Yep.
They got fired.
Yep.
So yeah, he was a 2-time NXT champion. He was a 2-time Intercontinental champion, Royal Rumble winner,
Mm-hmm.
United States
Which
champion.
is Royal Rumble, which should have got him a better title match at WrestleMania with him and AJ. I'm still pissed about that.
Yep.
I'm still mad about that. We waited for years to see that on American soil, and this is how.
Ranked number 5 wrestler in 2015.
He
That
had
was
he
that was
had
when
everything.
He was still in.
New Japan.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. But Shinsuke, I mean, as long as you didn't let him speak on the mic, you know.
What's wrong with giving people managers, man? Like I don't know why
There's nothing wrong.
WWE is getting away from that. Like
He
everybody's
was
not going to be able to
so
do it in the
over.
ring.
They had the guy come out there play his song on the violin.
Okay. So real quick, that his name is Lee England Jr. Okay.
Yeah.
His manager / cousin is a gentleman that I know from back home. He does his name is Tom Patterson. He's into a lot of different stuff, but he was Lee's manager, and he Lee England Jr. was the first musician signed to Michael Jordan's record label.
So I mean, people would that you didn't even need the music. The crowd would just go do his little thing. You know what I'm saying?
Not even just the crowd. Pat McAfee. Let's start there. I saw Pat dancing to Shinsuke's music from 4, maybe 6 rows back on the announce table at SmackDown out in Hartford some time ago, probably about a year and a half, 2 years ago. But man, Shinsuke had everything you needed to be champion. He didn't even you don't necessarily need to cut very long promos when you're champion, but you still could have gave him a manager. You still could have gave him a manager. There's pretty decent talkers down there in NXT who might not be able to get it done in the ring, but you can still find something else for them to do. That could have been a manager. You could have given him anybody. Anybody. Hell, you could have bought Slick back for all we care, or anybody to talk for him.
When the grease was hot, the fish was popping. They flopped on him.
Mm-hmm. Sure did.
He should have been a champion a long time ago.
Long time. He should have beat AJ at WrestleMania.
Yep.
He should have beat AJ at WrestleMania.
They let him and what's her name win in the same year, right?
Asuka, yeah. Yep, because that was the year. They did both lose at WrestleMania. Because Asuka was, I think that was her first loss when she lost to Charlotte.
Yeah, it was.
But it was the first year that they did the women's Rumble, and they had both of them win the same year.
Two Japanese wrestlers had them win the Rumble, then had them lose at WrestleMania. So that's where they get on the bad rap, and they treat Japanese wrestlers like crap.
Mm-hmm.
Because they've never had a Japanese wrestler win the Royal Rumble. The heavyweight title.
We gonna act like Yokozuna wasn't a thing?
It's not Japanese. Real Japanese. We just
go act like Yokozuna wasn't a thing. All right, cool. Flag, sumo gear, Mr. Fuji, the whole nine. We just gonna act like Yokozuna wasn't. Who, Yokozuna or Mr. Fuji? Because Mr. Fuji from California.
No, both.
Oh, they both from California.
Yeah, so neither one of them were Japanese. So
listen, all right, for the sake of kayfabe, we're not gonna act like Yokozuna didn't happen.
No, I'm not. We're not kayfabe, but I don't care about kayfabe in that now.
He was a dark-skinned Japanese guy. All right. He was from the side of Japan that got all the sun. They say it's the land of the rising sun. That's what side Yokozuna was from. That's why he's so dark.
All right, guys. That's our third one. We're gonna move on to number 4. I'm I'm gonna kick it off with another Hart Foundation member, Owen Hart.
Yes. Long time ago. WrestleMania 10, long time ago. WrestleMania 10, long time ago. Should have won the championship at WrestleMania 10 from his brother. Yeah. Owen should have been a multiple times. He could have been champion in Attitude Era. Could you imagine Owen Hart being champion in Attitude Era?
Yep. But how's he gonna beat his brother? And his brother goes on to win the title the same show.
Let's ask Lex Luger, because he was the one that was stuck in the middle of all of it.
I know.
maybe we shouldn't ask Lex Luger. Maybe not.
No.
Nah, we shouldn't ask Lex Luger nothing. We can
Okay.
I know somebody that might have that answer, but
no. but my guy was a King of the Ring winner. He was a European champion. He was a 2-time Intercontinental champion, 4-time tag team champion, 2 with the Japanese Yokozuna, 1 with Jeff Jarrett, 1 with British Bulldog.
I forgot he was tag champs with Jeff
He was
Jarrett.
a 1994 Madison Square Garden Royal Rumble winner. 3-time Slammy winner, because remember he put it on his tights.
Mm-hmm.
He had the feud of the year in '97 versus Stone Cold Steve Austin with the Hart Foundation. Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame in 2019. I'm not seeing. He's not in the Hall of Fame.
No, absolutely not. His wife is not having that shit. No. No, she's still mad.
They did. Well, if you say you die at on your job at your company's going to pay you money, whatever company you work for.
Yeah, but it's other
except
stuff
for Vince McMahon.
Well, except for Vince McMahon, because he don't want to. He don't want to.
TK's helping him now.
Yeah. And whenever he has a Hall of Fame, I'm pretty sure that Owen will be in. But nope, just Brett and Anvil and Brian Pillman. I don't even think Brian Pillman is in. So just the Anvil, Bulldog, and the Hitman from the Hart Foundation, and Jimmy Hart, if you want to count him.
Hey, no.
No.
Jimmy Hart,
Hart Foundation. He was a manager. I'm talking about actually. He's not a Hart, no, but he was a manager.
Yeah, it took Jimmy Hart.
Right. It took me some days. Listen, Drake's daddy is from Memphis, so that really don't count. It took me some years to realize that Jimmy Hart wasn't related. You know, young, don't really know. He was a manager when I first started watching the Hart Foundation. Okay. So it all made sense at some point. Maybe the Honky Tonk Man was their cousin or something. Who knows?
Yeah, but, my man. Well, he might have actually been champion eventually, but he passed away at a young age of 34. So we never know.
And he should have been champion way before that.
Yes.
Way before that. He should have been champion. He should have either beat him at WrestleMania 10 or no, I think Shawn Michaels was champion in '94 when they had the cage match at SummerSlam '94. But even still, Owen should have been champ way like during the heel turn, like right in the midst of the heel turn. That should have been him.
Yep. So yeah, Owen Hart, guys, that's our number 4 on the list, right?
Yeah, we're going into 5.
Oh, going on to 5. Let's see who we got up on 5 on my list. Oh, no other than the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase.
Not a more deserving should have been champion than him. Like, how do you, as the old man, how do you create a character in your image and don't make him champion? But then later on down the line, you make yourself champion in your own twice, ECW and WWF champ.
Yep.
In any way, how do you create a character in your image and you make him the $1 Million Man, but you don't make him like the man? It would have made WrestleMania 5 that much more interesting had the whole thing been able to play out and DiBiase had a run as champion. Like, what better villain story is that? What better villain story is that? And instead, you want to sever the friendship and then build off of that, other than like keep it theatrical and what people are going to be really interested in than have this monster villain who's not even the size of Andre the Giant or as strong as Big John Studd or whoever else Terry had to run through in the 80s during his initial run to get the belt back from him. Like, they dropped the ball big time on not making DiBiase champion back then.
Andre the Giant tried to hand it to him.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what better villain story do you have than the mastermind sending his muscle to win something for? It's the story writes itself, man. We've been watching it in cartoons our whole life. Mr. Big, you know what I'm saying, is always a little guy.
Yep. But and like you were saying, yeah, he should have been. He was a very villain. They didn't even give this guy an Intercontinental or nothing. All they give him a tag team.
And the belt that he had to buy himself.
Yeah, the $1 million championship. Yeah,
which is still one of my favorite. That's still one of my favorite belts in all of wrestling. I just hate that it's so expensive on Shop.
And it's not a real title.
No, but who cares?
I know. Just like the FTW, but that's retired now.
So it's $1 million title. Thanks, LA Knight.
But yeah, so they didn't even give him a run at a mid-card title or nothing. Except he won the 24/7 championship one time. I'm just saying.
And
I know.
So did the gobbledygooker.
Yeah, he was a one-time 24/7, two-time $1 million champion. He was a one-time North American Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah, he allegedly was the opponent for Pat Patterson in that tournament final in Brazil. You know, being the North American champion, yeah. Pat being the South American champion, and them never actually really fucking wrestling, but you know, it is what it is.
They said he was a one-time WWE championship, but not champion, but not official because Andre the Giant tried to hand it to him.
Yeah, I mean, he did defend it at a house show though, so that should count.
Yeah,
and he just, I mean, it just looked like I'm looking at my Winged Eagle belt right now because I'm live from, well, not live, but I'm in the living room, but I'm looking at my Winged Eagle belt right now, and like him with like the silver, you know, gear on and all of that, and it would have fit, man. Like he looked right with the title, you know what I'm saying? So it just would have made sense. Like I said, you had the perfect villain story after that Saturday Night's Main Event, which is still my favorite episode of Saturday Night's Main Event because Terry lost and he cried like a punk at the end of the episode. But either way, you had probably one of the best storylines right there. Like I said, villain sends muscle in to acquire prize.
Yep.
Until, you know, villain goes around the world, the country, whatever, flaunting, and then you build that up and you take this heel machine, this heel machine, and you run it with DiBiase and turn him into not even like physically a monster heel, but just the character. You turn it into a monster heel character, and you just make it work from there. But apparently, the old man had something different in mind and did just that. So.
Yep. So that's our guy, Ted DiBiase. He should have had a run, but he never did because the old man dropped the ball again on him. He dropped the ball on a few people.
Mm-hmm.
WCW dropped the ball on this next guy I want to talk about. He was a 4 horseman. The greatest spine buster in history.
Ever.
Arn. Where's your gad at? Anderson.
Arn Anderson. My favorite 4 horsemen. Yeah. Definitely should have had a run, man.
Yeah, especially when Flair left.
Yeah.
When Flair left the WWF at the time, that's when they should have put the belt on Arn Anderson. You didn't have the red and yellow man. You didn't have anybody else there except for Sting, right?
And Luger and Vader and Ron Simmons.
So that's the time they should have put the belt on Arn Anderson.
Yeah. And then when Flair came back and they had the 2 titles, and like Arn with the big gold should have been a thing. I'm looking at my big gold belt right now. Arn with the big gold should have been a thing. Bottom line.
the number 9 ranked wrestler in 1991. They didn't put the belt on him because that's when Flair left, right?
Yes.
Yeah, because
Yes.
Flair won the '92 Rumble, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, they had this guy as a television champion 4 times.
1,000 times, a tag team champion, a zillion times. Was he ever
Yep.
U.S. champion?
Never was U.S. champion. He was a WWF tag team champion also with Tully.
Yeah, the Brainbusters. Yep.
Hall of Fame member as a member of the Four Horsemen, but not a Hall of Fame member individually. So that's another thing they need to let him come in.
Yeah.
He also was part of the Towers of Doom match, though. If you want to bring that up, your favorite match ever.
You talking about the one that uncensored with him and the 3 cages, the damn
Yeah,
concept that didn't make no sense. The worst match in all of wrestling.
you loved it.
Period. I did not. I'd love to hate it. Sometimes I seriously, the only reason why I've seen that match more than once was to make sure it actually happened. Because I'm not, and I may have watched it live too. One of my buddies from back home, he live in Phoenix now. My homie Jamil, he had one of them black boxes where you can get all of the pay-per-views and stuff illegally for free.
Yep.
Yeah, he had one of those when we was in like 8th grade, freshman year of high school, or just maybe until he moved off the block. But I saw he was the big WCW guy. So I think me and him watched that match together. But like I said, the only reason why I've seen it twice was to make sure it really happened. That match was terrible, and I feel bad that Arn had to be a part of that. I really do.
Yeah, so it's another one of the guys that worked his butt off for all these years and never got to hold the belt. At least one time, like at least it could have even been a short run. You know what I'm saying?
Right, give him
something.
60 days or something. The way WCW used to pass that title around.
Yep.
They could have done a little something for Arn. And like you
just,
said, especially when Flair left.
Yep. All right. Well, moving on. That's our guy Arn Anderson, one of our favorite horsemen collectively.
Yes.
We're down to 4 more guys. Our last 4 guys. I'm gonna start last 4 as Cesaro Claudio Castagnoli. He is a ROH champion since he's been in AW, but I'm not really counting that.
He should have been ROH champion when he was there the first time.
Yes. When he was hot, right before he left, I think it was not his last year. Was it last year? When he was
He's been in AW for yes, his Elimination Chamber match. He definitely should have won that one.
Yeah, he should have won the Elimination Chamber match and won the title, right?
Yeah.
He was hot at the time, very hot. He was sizzling.
Mm-hmm.
And they dropped the ball. They just passed him around, and he said, "I had enough of this crap," and he left.
I'm out of here, and I don't blame him one bit.
Yeah, but he has technically been an ROH World Champion since he's been there. So if you want to count that, you can count that for yourself. I'm not counting it because Ring of Honor really wasn't a major promotion.
And they're still not really a major promotion.
Well, I consider major promotion as when you're making money.
Or when you have the exposure.
Yeah.
Because we don't know how much them TNA guys is making, but they definitely getting the exposure.
Yeah, they're probably not making as much as they used to make.
Right.
When the Red and Yellow Man and Eric Bischoff was taking all the money. Angle, Christian Cage, all of them.
Mm-hmm. Booker T, Main Event Mafia.
Yeah. So yeah, that was. I'm trying to think. When was that? I'm looking at it now.
When the Elimination Chamber match, wasn't it 20? Was it 2019 or 20? When did he leave?
He left.
He left 2021. I think he's been in AW for 2 years now.
2022 he left.
Okay, so he's been in AW for 2 years. Because didn't he leave like right after they lifted the no compete? Because he wasn't out for long, and he didn't really do like no major like indie bookings or nothing like that. I think he kind of sat out his contract and then went over because he wasn't released.
Yeah, it was the 2021 was the Elimination Chamber.
Okay, and who won that one?
Rollins? No, because they wanted to challenge him, right?
I believe so. Who was in it? That might help me out more.
Just a second. 2021 was it was still behind closed doors. It was in Tampa. It
Mhm.
was Drew McIntyre. No, sorry. Oh, DB Daniel Bryan.
Was the title on the line?
That was for a match against Roman Reigns.
Okay.
But even though he should have won that to at least get a shot at the strap, you know what I'm saying?
I don't even think he had a championship match. He may have had one.
Did he have one right before he left?
I think he had one against Roman.
Yeah, I think so.
I think he had one against Roman.
Yeah, he was one of the ones to lose to a lot of the guys lose to Roman.
Hmm.
Yeah, so yeah, he was red hot at the time, and they should have just let him,
Let him cook.
and they didn't let him cook. So yeah, Claudio Castagnoli is on our list at number 7. Now we're gonna go to 8, 9, and 10. Next, by the way of Gainesville, Texas, your man, Jake the Snake Roberts.
Wasn't a champion, a world champion in any organization he went to. Easily top 5 best promos in wrestling history in his peak. Like, we're not even going to talk about all of his struggles and stuff since he's been older, but prime Jake, straight from, wasn't he in AWA? He was in AWA for a little bit,
Yeah,
but he came
like you said,
from Mid South, right?
yeah, but he's never won any title in any organization.
No world title, no. He's never
No,
won the top. He's won titles.
he never won one in WCW, any title. He's never won
No,
one in
no, no, no.
WWE.
That's what I'm saying. He hasn't had like a main, like, he's been UWF North American champ. Uh
That don't.
SMW
That's
heavyweight
what
champ.
I'm talking about, like a major promotion.
That's yeah. But I mean,
He
he's
hasn't even
won
had like
titles though.
yeah, he's won titles in smaller places, but when he was at the big ones, he's not even won a title at all.
He never. I don't even think Jake's had a title match.
Yeah,
I
so
don't
I
remember
know.
Jake wrestling for, because if you remember, and this was like early. We were kids. The play was to book him against Hogan, but he was getting more of the, like, Jake was being cheered as a face, and they
Yeah,
they scrapped it because a lot of people were Jake fans, and it might have been because of Damien. It might have, but he was supposed to be booked in an angle with Hogan for the title, and Vince scrapped it because Jake was getting cheered more than Hogan was, and this was in the '80s. So, but he definitely, um, I could see him taking the title off of Macho Man during their feud.
yeah,
Um, you know what I'm saying? Like, that was very possible. He could have took it off of Ultimate Warrior during
right.
their feud. He could have, if let's say that the old man did want to pull the trigger and make a Rick Rude champion. Jake could have been the face to take it off of Rick Rude, because they had one of the best feuds I've ever seen growing up.
Yeah, they
So,
did.
it was so many, him against DiBiase. They had a feud. Jake could have took the title off him. I mean, I feel like between Terry's creative control and Vince's fear of building a star bigger than the golden goose he had, I guess that's another reason why a lot of these guys just weren't champ, was because of him. And Jake was one of those guys that could have been a really, really, really good heavyweight champion.
Yeah, so yeah, I agree with you, Jason. Should have had him, but didn't. Yeah, his promo. I understand that Steve Austin beating him, King of the Ring. At least give him King of the Ring, but I would have liked to even seen him ring King of the Ring. But they didn't.
Something.
He was a face at the time.
Yeah, but I mean, just I would have liked to have seen him win something while he was there. Like, get him
Yeah.
all the way to the goal line, but won't get him across, but can't get him across.
All right, number 9 on our list, guys. The man, Rowdy Piper. Maybe in the WWE, for me, he could have won, but I think he should have won it in WCW when he came back. Because Hogan really never beat him before. What was the say so? They said he never beat him. When he came into WCW, he was hot, red, freaking screeching hot in the '90s, and I think he should have been the one to take the belt off of him, but they didn't.
The agreement was for me and Piper to trade the belt, and WC shut up.
I know.
I'd shut up. You didn't want him to win because you didn't want him to beat you. Shut up. Even in WWF, Piper would have made the old man so much money, but he was the first kind of like anti-hero like we got with Stone Cold, like wasn't all the way heel, wasn't all the way face.
Yep.
During that time, like when he was super hot in the 80s, so you couldn't really, you could have. People loved Piper. Everybody loved Piper. I didn't personally care for Roddy Piper, but he was over. Like it didn't get more over in that time than Roddy Piper. He definitely should have been more than just a one-time Intercontinental Champion in a down period for the company. He was an Intercontinental Champ going into WrestleMania 8, which was 1992. They were definitely on the way down at that point because all of the steroid stuff and all of that, whatever else is going on.
Yep.
But he definitely, like I said, just because I don't care for him, don't mean that he wasn't good at what he did, man. Like he had everything you needed, but the old man was too busy making money instead of entertaining people.
And same thing when he got to WCW, the Red and Yellow Man.
Yep,
Did it again.
sure
Did it twice
did.
to him. Did it twice to him, basically.
And I see why he's another guy that didn't too much care for him.
Nobody cared for him,
No, he took money. He was taking food off people's plates,
especially Jesse Ventura.
especially Jesse Ventura.
Oh my goodness!
Snitching ass fucking Terry.
Can't believe
Boy,
he snitched on him, man.
I gotta watch. I gotta get into it.
Yeah. All right, guys. Our final one on the list. My GOAT, Mr. Scott Hall, aka Razor Ramon.
Yep. another fumble by both companies.
At least he should have won in the WWE as Razor Ramon.
Yeah, he could have. I mean, I could have seen him as champ in WCW. It would have saved us having to have Scott Steiner as a damn champion.
Bro, he was like in WWF. He was so hot. It was not even funny, man.
He was. He made the easiest transition from heel to face too. Like it wasn't really, and people didn't really treat the fans didn't really treat him different as a face than they did when he was a heel. But like his character was fresh. It got over very, very fast. The scenario with have you ever heard about the scenario of how Scott Steiner was supposed to win the Royal Rumble in 1993? So Scott Steiner was originally booked to win the Royal Rumble in 1993. That was the first Scott Steiner. Yes, that was the first year that they it's posted somewhere, so I'll tag you in it. That was the first year that they gave the winner a title shot. So let's say that Scott Steiner, because he didn't want to take it because he didn't want to leave his brother just to be on the singles roster, be a singles on the main roster as a tag wrestler and then just kind of get lost in the shuffle. So he didn't, that's why his ass ended up in a damn dark match at WrestleMania 9. But I'm thinking that if Scott Steiner would have agreed to win the Royal Rumble in 93, maybe Razor would have beat Bret Hart at the Royal Rumble that year. Because remember, that was his first title shot. He had beat up Owen and in the locker room and all of that. And that was really that was actually a decent match. That match doesn't get a lot of credit. People don't talk about that match a lot. They talk about them meeting in the King of the Ring tournament that next year. But Razor's first title shot at the '93 Royal Rumble, I think it was in Sacramento. Yeah. That was the time right there, because like you really didn't have, but then you would have had to figure out what to do with the whole Red and Yellow Man situation, because you remember how he came out at the end and won and then dropped it again a few months later. Like, would you have had Razor Ramon take the title off of Hogan? Like, You know what I'm saying? Like it's just so much to think about. But there was a few times even after that where he could have been champ, but
I
you
think
know,
he eventually would have won it in WCW if he would have stayed clean.
yeah, yeah, I can agree with that. I can
Yeah, so
definitely agree with that.
everybody knows he's my favorite wrestler ever. Started when I was a kid in WCW. Um, but he didn't, and that's our top 10, and kind of makes me sad at the end. But if you
I
can,
got a
guys,
I got a couple honorable mentions, man.
okay, let's hear him.
Just to throw some names out there. Like I know he was champion WCW, but he he was definitely deserving of a run under the old man. Ravishing Rick Rude was one guy who I feel like could have been a pretty decent heel champ. We don't really need to elaborate. Um, I feel like Ron Simmons could have had a run as Farouk.
Yeah, but he won the belt in
He did, but
WCW.
yeah, he did, but you know, he when he went to a bigger promotion, the biggest promotion, I feel like he could have had a run as Farouk. Um, I wouldn't have minded seeing guys who did have managers like guys like Haku
Yeah,
get more of a shot while he was with the Heenan family. Hercules, just to throw a dark horse out there. I feel like Hercules had just about everything, but he was in the right place at the wrong time. Didn't really do much in W. I think he wrestled under a mask in WCW.
right.
But you know, just to throw a few of my personal favorites out there that we didn't really get to mention, but it's a slew of guys, man.
There's
But
a lot of
really,
guys, yeah, that never made it.
it's
But
a lot, but none that had more of an impact than at least 8 out of the 10 that we had on our list. Because you know, Cesaro, Claudio, he's still he's still active, he's still relevant. He's he's still kind of making his path. Um, that's pretty
X
much
Pac,
the only one. Who X Pac?
yeah,
You mean the potential 4-time Hall of Famer X Pac?
yeah.
That's crazy. If he gets in 4 times, you know it's rigged. It's super rigged. We're not even about to X Pac. Yeah, X Pac for champ. He should have beat Bret Hart on Raw, right? That's what you're saying.
Nah, I'm just joking.
What about Matt Hardy? We didn't even talk about Matt Hardy.
Yeah,
Matt Hardy,
he's been a champion. TNA
where?
heavyweight chip. He was
We
TNA,
not
and then
are we counting TNA?
I said TNA.
We counting ECW too because he was
Yeah,
ECW champ.
yeah. I counted those.
Putting Matt Hardy on the list, man.
Matt Hardy was a TNA champion. I said TNA.
You said TNA counts,
Yeah,
but ROH don't.
I said TNA counts because it was at the time when he was a champion. He had all the big guys in there still. You had he was ECW champion. That counted. That's 3 promotions they had running that much.
ECW, he was WWE CW champion. He
Yeah, that
had that
counted.
ugly gray and black and metallic ugliness. That belt was terrible. Vince did that on purpose. I don't even think it's any belt collectors that if you are a subscriber, if you follow, if you watch the show, and you own that particular WCW belt, please post it on our Facebook page so I can laugh at the people who bought that monstrosity.
People buy it.
For collection purposes, yes, I
Yes.
get it, but not because you look at it like, ooh, I like that. Said no one ever. Besides,
Right.
probably Tony Atlas is goofy. I don't even want to talk about that
Oh
motherfucker.
man,
Don't
he's
even
all
get me.
over that show,
I
man.
know. You saw what I put. I do. Can we please? I'm gonna say this so the listeners and the watchers and the viewers can we please stop talking to Tony Atlas, please? Anybody that makes a conscious decision, wakes up in the morning, makes a conscious decision to put on a sleeveless dress shirt and a tie, walk around looking like Fred Damn Flintstone, don't need to be interviewed by anyone anywhere. Please, those of you who are making these wrestling documentaries,
He
stop
said
talking to Tony Atlas. We don't
he's
want to hear from Tony Atlas.
he said yeah, I didn't like Pat Patterson. They kept on grabbing my pecker in the locker room. Why would you?
Who
Do we
asked you
need?
that?
Do we
Who
need to
asked you
know that?
that? Who asked you that?
Then they go, "Did you tell Vince?" No.
Dumbass. What was you gonna do? probably fire him and keep Pat. Who knows? I gotta watch this damn back, man. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and put it on soon as we're done.
I'm gonna watch
And
Collision in a few hours. So it's
yeah.
Grand Slam Collision. So
Yeah. Well, it's actually on now.
for
Out
you, it
here
is.
on the East Coast. Yes, it is. It is. So I guess I'll be getting into that and yeah, see what this Vince documentary is about a
Yeah, so
little later.
yeah, so guys, check it out, guys. Please watch our episodes. Subscribe. I don't have the scroll going right now, so don't worry about it. If you subscribe to our YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, X, get the shirt. He got the Philly segment shirt on today. We'll be greatly appreciated. Until next week, guys. Peace.